The night he replaced her in front of everyone was the night she stopped being weak. Her name was Elena Carter. She wasn't rich. She wasn't powerful. She wasn't the kind of woman people turn to look at twice. But she loved deeply. And she loved one man more than anything in this world, her husband, Ryan Carter. For 7 years, Elena built her life around him. She cooked for him. Waited for him. Supported him when he had nothing. Back when Ryan was broke, she was the one paying the rent. When he failed, she was the one telling him, "You'll make it someday." And when he finally did succeed, he forgot her. At first, it was small changes. Late night calls. Short replies. No more "I love you." Then came the distance. He stopped eating dinner with her. Stopped asking how her day was. Stopped touching her like she no longer existed. Elena felt it. The slow death of a marriage. But she kept hoping. Because love makes you blind. One evening, Ryan walked in, perfectly dressed in a suit she had never seen before. "Get ready," he said coldly. "We're going out." Elena's heart skipped. For the first time in months, he wanted to take her out. Maybe this was his way of fixing things. Maybe he still loved her. She wore her best dress. It wasn't expensive, but it was clean, simple, and elegant. She even smiled at herself in the mirror. "Tonight will be different," she whispered. She didn't know. It would be the worst night of her life. The restaurant was luxurious. The kind of place Elena had only seen in pictures. Crystal lights. Soft music. Rich people laughing. Elena felt out of place the moment she stepped in. But Ryan didn't even look at her. He walked ahead, confident, like she wasn't even there. Then they reached the table. And that's when Elena saw her. A woman sitting gracefully, dressed in a stunning red gown. Her hair perfect. Her smile confident. She looked like everything Elena wasn't. Ryan pulled out a chair, but not for his wife. For her. "Elena," he said. Casually, "Meet Vanessa." Vanessa looked Elena up and down. Not with curiosity. Not with kindness. But with judgment. "Oh," she smirked. "So this is your wife?" Elena's chest tightened. Something felt wrong. Very wrong. She looked at Ryan. "What is this?" But his face was cold. "I didn't want to drag this," he said. "So I'll be clear." He reached for Vanessa's hand. "I'm in love with her." The world stopped. Elena couldn't breathe. The words echoed in her ears, again and again. "I'm in love with her." "You're joking, right?" Elena whispered. Ryan didn't answer. Vanessa did. "Oh please," she laughed softly. "Men like Ryan don't stay with women like you forever." People were watching now. Whispers filled the air. Elena felt every eye on her. Every judgment. Every pity. "I supported you when you had nothing," Elena said, her voice breaking. "I believed in you." Ryan sighed. "And I've moved on." Moved on? The words cut deep. Like 7 years meant nothing. Like she meant nothing. Vanessa leaned forward. "Let me make it simple," she said, her voice dripping with arrogance. "You were just a phase." That broke her. Completely. Ryan placed an envelope on the table. "There's some money in here," he said. "Take it and leave quietly." Elena stared at it. Money. That's what she was worth now. Her hands trembled. Her heart screamed. Her soul shattered. But she didn't cry. Not there. Not in front of them. Instead, she stood up slowly. Her eyes met Ryan's. Then Vanessa's. And for the first time, There was no love in her eyes. Only something cold. Something unfamiliar. "I hope," Elena said softly. "You never regret this." Vanessa laughed. Ryan smirked. "But Elena?" She walked away. Not knowing where she would go. Not knowing what she would do. But knowing one thing. The woman who walked into that restaurant was not the same woman walking out. That night, she lost everything. But she also lost her fear. And when a person has nothing left to lose, they become unstoppable. The night Elena walked out of that restaurant, she didn't go home. Because she didn't have one anymore. Ryan had made that clear in a single sentence. Take the money and leave quietly. But she didn't take the envelope. She left it behind. Because she refused to be paid for her own humiliation. The streets were cold. The world felt unfamiliar. For the first time in years, Elena was completely alone. No husband. No home. No plan. She spent her first night on a bench. Her body shivering. Her heart numb. But her mind? Her mind was awake. She replayed every moment. Every insult. Every laugh. Every look of superiority from Vanessa. Every word from Ryan. "You have nothing." Elena closed her eyes tightly. "No," she whispered to herself. "I have something. Pain. And pain can either destroy you or transform you." The next morning, Elena stood up not as a victim, but as someone who had made a decision. She would not beg. She would not break. And she would never, ever, be that weak again. Seedling the struggle. The first few months were brutal. Elena took any job she could find. Cleaning offices. Serving tables. Working double shifts. People ignored her. Some disrespected her. But she stayed silent. Not because she was weak, but because she was rebuilding. Every night, she studied. Business videos. Online courses. Financial lessons. She had no degree. No connections. But she had something far more powerful. Relentless determination. Days turned into months. Months turned into years. Slowly, Elena changed. Her posture became stronger. Her voice became firmer. Her mind became sharper. She started a small online business. It failed. She tried again. Failed again. But she didn't stop. Because she remembered that night. That humiliation. That pain. And she used it as fuel. Fire the transformation. 3 years later, Elena Carter was no longer the same woman. She owned a successful fashion brand. Elegant. Classy. Powerful. Just like the woman she had become. Her designs started gaining attention. Then popularity. Then recognition. Soon, everyone knew her name. Not as Ryan's poor wife, but as a self-made, successful woman. And then, fate gave her the moment she had been waiting for. Collision the Revenge. One evening, Elena received an invitation. A high-profile business gala. The biggest in the city. And on the guest list, 2 names stood out. Ryan Carter. Vanessa Hale. Elena stared at the invitation. Her fingers tightened. Her heart beat faster. This was it. Not revenge through anger, but revenge through success. Performing arts. The night of the gala arrived. Luxury. Lights. Power. The same kind of place. Where she was once humiliated. But this time, everything was different. Elena stepped out of the car. Dressed in a stunning black gown. Elegant. Confident. Untouchable. Heads turned. Whispers followed. Who is she? She looks incredible. Then someone said it. That's Elena Carter. Inside the hall, Ryan stood laughing with Vanessa. But the moment his eyes landed on Elena, his smile disappeared. Shock. Confusion. Regret. Elena, he whispered. Vanessa turned. And froze. The same woman she once mocked now stood above her. In every way. Elena walked toward them. Calm. Controlled. Powerful. Ryan stepped forward. I didn't expect to see you here, he said awkwardly. Elena smiled faintly. Why not? Vanessa forced a smile. Well, looks like you've changed. Elena looked directly into her eyes. Yes, she said softly. I learned my place. Vanessa's expression shifted. Elena stepped closer. But not the place you gave me. Silence. Ryan swallowed hard. Elena. I made a mistake. There it was. The words she once dreamed of hearing. But now? They meant nothing. Elena looked at him. Not with love. Not with pain. But with indifference. The biggest mistake, she said calmly, was thinking I needed you. Ryan's eyes filled with regret. I want another chance, he said desperately. Elena smiled. Not kindly. But knowingly. You already had one, she replied. Then. She turned to Vanessa. The next time you see a woman like I was. She paused. Don't mistake kindness for weakness. And just like that, she walked away. Not broken. Not humiliated. But victorious. Sunrise. That night, Elena didn't just face her past. She closed it. Forever. Ryan lost everything that truly mattered. Vanessa lost her pride. But Elena? She gained something priceless. Herself. Because in the end, the greatest revenge isn't hurting those who broke you. It's becoming someone they can never reach again. Fire. They laughed when she had nothing, but in the end, she became everything they could never have.